Wow, this is quite the stack of reading material for our deep dive today.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We're really diving into WebMD's best and worst foods for diabetes. Looks like it's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, it's really comprehensive, and I think it's a really great resource for anyone looking to manage their diabetes through diet.
Absolutely. And it's not just for those newly diagnosed, right?
Exactly.
Even if you've been managing diabetes for a while.
Yeah, there's always something new to learn, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to help you navigate this sometimes very complex world of dietary choices. Really get a good understanding of how different foods impact your blood sugar.
Yeah.
And to equip you with some practical tips to help you reach those health goals.
And hopefully bust a few myths along the way.
Oh, I love myth busting.
All right.
I'm all about that.
Those are always fun.
So one thing the source really emphasizes is the power of food when it comes to managing blood sugar.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about counting carbs, right?
No.
It's really about understanding how different foods interact with our bodies.
It really is like a constant conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Between what we eat and how our bodies respond. And so for people with diabetes, that conversation becomes even more important.
Because the stakes are higher, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The source doesn't shy away from the long-term dangers of those consistently high blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
Talking nerve damage, kidney problems,
Yep.
increased risk of heart disease.
It's a big deal.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why, consistent, healthy eating habits, along with, mindful meal timing, can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Really help train your body to utilize insulin more effectively.
Okay, so it's not just what you eat.
It's the when.
It's when you eat.
Uh-huh.
So can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah.
How does that timing impact insulin sensitivity?
Well, think of your body kind of like a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
When you eat consistently and, roughly the same times each day, your body gets into this rhythm. It knows when to expect that fuel. And it can start gearing up its insulin production in anticipation.
Oh, I see. So it's like
Right.
setting your body's internal clock
Absolutely.
for optimal blood sugar control.
Yes, exactly.
And this is where we need to debunk a common myth.
Okay.
There's no one-size-fits-all diabetes diet, right?
Right.
I think so many people fall into that trap,
Yes.
searching for that magic bullet solution.
It's understandable,
It is.
but the reality is
Yeah.
that your individual needs, your preferences, even your lifestyle play a huge role in finding what works best for you.
Yeah.
It's truly personalized.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Exactly.
So where do we even begin?
Fair.
How do we find that personalized approach?
The source really emphasizes the importance of working with a healthcare professional.
Okay.
They can help you, tailor your approach, set realistic goals that fit your lifestyle, and monitor your progress along the way.
So it's about collaboration.
It's not a rigid set of rules.
Exactly.
Now, the source dives into some specific diets
Okay.
that have proven effective for managing blood sugar,
Yeah.
improving heart health, and even aiding in weight loss.
Yes.
So let's explore those.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll be looking at the DSH diet,
Yeah.
the Mediterranean diet, the flexitarian diet,
Yes.
and the Ornish diet.
Okay.
Each one offers, a unique approach to healthy eating,
Yeah.
and they all have scientific evidence backing them up.
Yes, absolutely.
The DAH diet seems pretty user-friendly from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
No special foods or supplements required.
No.
And it even sounds family-friendly.
It is.
Tell me more about that one.
Well, the DAH diet really centers around vegetables, fruits, and whole grains.
Okay.
It also includes low-fat dairy, lean protein sources like fish and poultry, and healthy fats.
Okay.
The key is limiting saturated fat, sugary drinks, and sweets. So it's really about making, sustainable swaps, not restrictive eliminations. Yeah, the source mentions a study where the DSH diet actually outperformed a standard eating pattern.
Yes.
And it showed improvements in blood pressure, blood fat levels, A1C,
Yeah.
even fasting blood sugar levels.
Yeah, it's a great diet.
That's pretty convincing.
It is.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit to the Mediterranean diet.
Okay.
This one's known for its focus on fresh produce, whole grains,
Yeah.
healthy fats, especially olive oil,
Yes.
and really enjoying meals with loved ones.
Yes.
There's something so appealing about that.
I know, right?
It sounds like a lifestyle,
Right.
not just a diet.
It is. It's a way of life.
And it's not just delicious, it's also been linked to potential anti-inflammatory benefits, which are huge for overall health.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm starting to see why this one's your favorite.
It's hard to resist.
Okay, moving on, we have the flexitarian diet.
Okay.
And this is a more flexible approach, as the name suggests.
Yes, as the name suggests.
It's about reducing meat consumption, but without going fully vegetarian.
Right.
So it's still plant-based at its core.
Yes.
But you can include lean meats and fish occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally.
The source mentions a meta-analysis showing lower A1C levels
Yes.
for people following this diet.
It is. It's
That's impressive.
impressive.
However,
Yeah.
the source also points out that it might not be suitable for people with IBS
Yeah.
due to its high FODMAC content.
Right. It's it's something to keep in mind.
That's a good point.
Yes.
And a perfect example of why personalization is so crucial.
Exactly.
One diet doesn't fit all.
No.
Speaking of specific dietary needs, let's talk about the Ornish diet.
Okay.
This one seems a bit more restrictive.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, the Ornish diet is a vegetarian, low-fat approach,
Okay.
but it goes beyond food choices.
Yeah.
Really emphasizes those lifestyle changes.
Okay.
Things like regular exercise, stress management techniques, and really building those strong social connections.
Oh, wow.
It's a very holistic approach to
Alright.
well-being.
It sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
There's some compelling research behind it, too.
Yes.
The source highlights a study showing some really impressive improvements. Weight loss, lower blood pressure,
Yep.
improved cholesterol levels,
Yep.
lower A1C, and even better fasting blood sugar.
Yeah, the results are pretty impressive.
That's a really strong case
They are.
for this lifestyle plan.
It really highlights how interconnected, our physical and mental health are.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 4 very distinct dietary approaches, all with evidence to support them.
Yeah.
But let's get down to specifics.
Okay.
What are some of the best foods to include in our diets when managing diabetes?
Okay.
Let's start with veggies. I'm guessing those are high on the list.
Absolutely.
Right.
Vegetables are a cornerstone of, any healthy diabetes diet.
Right.
But the source makes an important distinction between starchy
Okay.
and non-starchy vegetables.
Okay.
They both have their place, but their impact on blood sugar is different.
I'm all ears. Break it down for us.
Okay.
What's the difference between these 2 types of veggies and why is it so important?
Well, think of starchy vegetables like complex carbohydrates.
Okay.
They're higher in carbs and calories.
Okay.
So things like potatoes, corn, and peas fall into that category.
Okay.
Non-starchy vegetables, on the other hand,
Yeah.
lower in carbs and calories, and they're packed with fiber.
Okay.
So this group includes broccoli, carrots, spinach, really.
Yeah.
The whole rainbow of colors you see in the produce aisle.
And the source really emphasizes aiming for that colorful variety.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Well, different colored vegetables offer different nutrients.
Oh, okay.
So the more variety you include in your diet, the wider range of vitamins and minerals you'll be getting.
Okay.
So it's like creating a work of art on your plate,
I love that.
and your body benefits from every brushstroke.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, now speaking of satisfying those sweet cravings,
Okay.
let's talk about how fruits fit into the picture.
Okay.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
Packed with vitamins and minerals.
Absolutely.
But how do they work in a diabetes-friendly diet?
Well, fruits are definitely a great source of nutrients, but moderation is key.
Okay.
They do contain those natural sugars,
Uh-huh.
so portion control is essential.
The source recommends opting for fresh or frozen fruits without added sugar and being mindful of those sneaky added sugars
Yes.
in canned fruits and juices.
Exactly.
Yay.
Want to make sure you're getting the natural sweetness of the fruit itself,
Okay.
not a bunch of added sugars that can really spike your blood sugar.
Okay, let's move on to protein.
Okay.
There's so many options out there.
I know, right?
Plant-based,
Yeah.
animal-based.
Yeah.
Where should we focus our attention
Okay.
when it comes to managing diabetes?
The source highlights a diverse range of protein sources,
Okay.
which is great news.
That is good news.
You've got your plant-based options, beans, peanuts, and tofu, as well as, fish, lean poultry, and eggs.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone.
And it stresses the importance of limiting processed and high-fat meats
Yes.
for optimal heart health,
Absolutely.
which makes sense, especially since people with diabetes
Right.
are already at an increased risk for heart disease.
Right. It's all about making choices that support your overall health.
Absolutely.
So choosing lean protein sources and incorporating those plant-based options regularly
Yeah.
can make a big difference.
Now, dairy often gets kind of a bad rap when it comes to healthy eating.
It does, yeah.
How does dairy fit into the equation for someone managing diabetes?
Well, when it comes to dairy, the key is choosing those low-fat or non-fat options.
Okay.
So the source suggests incorporating Greek yogurt, non-fat milk, and even those plant-based alternatives like almond or soy milk. Okay.
If you prefer.
I'm a big fan of Greek yogurt.
Me too.
So versatile.
Yes.
You could use it in both sweet and savory dishes.
Yeah. And it's a great way to get your protein and your calcium
Right.
without all the added fat.
All right, let's talk about fats and oils.
Okay.
They can be a confusing category.
I know.
With so much conflicting information out there.
Yeah.
Are all fats created equal?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Remember those good fats we talked about earlier? The unsaturated fats?
Yeah.
Those are the ones you want to focus on.
Okay.
They're found in avocados, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish.
Okay.
And they can actually benefit your heart health.
And then there are the bad fats.
Yeah. Yes, the saturated fats.
The saturated fats.
Those are the ones you want to limit.
Okay.
You'll find them in fatty meats, full-fat dairy products, and some tropical oils like coconut and palm oil.
Okay, and then there are the ugly fats.
The ugly fats, those trans fats we hear so much about.
Yeah, those are the worst offenders.
Okay.
They're those artificial fats found in some processed foods and margarine,
Yeah.
and those should be avoided altogether.
Wow.
They're just detrimental to your heart health and your overall well-being.
So reading labels is crucial
Absolutely, yeah.
when it comes to fats. Now, let's face it,
Right.
we all have those sweet cravings,
We do.
even when we're trying to manage our blood sugar.
Absolutely.
What does the source suggest for handling those cravings in a healthy way?
Well, you know, the source acknowledges those cravings
Okay.
and suggests some smarter swaps.
Okay.
So instead of reaching for, those processed treats,
Yeah.
try fresh fruits, low-carb treats, or using natural sweeteners instead of refined sugar.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But even with those healthier sweet options, portion control is still important. Right?
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that balance.
Okay.
So you can enjoy those sweet treats. Just be mindful of the portion size.
Finally, let's revisit drinks.
Okay.
We know water is the best choice.
Yes.
But what about other beverages? What should we be limiting or avoiding?
So the source advises limiting those sugary culprits.
Yeah.
Like soda, sweetened tea, and juice. And be cautious of those coffee drinks.
Yeah.
Loaded with cream and sugar.
Right.
You know.
What about alcohol?
Okay.
Where does that fit in?
Well, alcohol can be tricky for people with diabetes.
Okay.
It can actually cause blood sugar levels to drop too low,
Oh, wow.
especially if you drink on an empty stomach.
Okay.
So if you choose to drink, moderation is key. No more than 1 or 2 drinks per day.
Okay.
And always pair it with food.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to the best and worst food choices for managing diabetes.
We have.
But I'm curious to dig into the other side of the coin now.
Okay.
The foods we should be limiting or avoiding altogether.
Okay.
The source calls these the foes to watch out for.
And remember, no food is totally off limits.
Right.
It's all about making, mindful choices and finding healthy swaps that work for you.
Yeah.
So let's go through each category like we did with the best foods.
Sounds good. So starting with veggies,
Okay.
which ones should we be cautious about?
Well, when it comes to starchy vegetables,
Okay.
the source recommends limiting highly processed options
Okay.
like white rice, refined white flour products like white bread and regular pasta,
Okay.
and of course those fried vegetables like French fries.
Yeah, those are pretty common culprits,
They are.
I have to admit.
But thankfully there are easy swaps.
Okay, like what?
Choose brown rice over white rice, whole grain bread over white bread.
Okay.
Try baked sweet potato fries instead of the deep fried kind.
Small changes can make a big difference.
Exactly.
What about non-starchy veggies?
Okay.
Are there any we should be mindful of?
Well, the source points out that, canned vegetables with added sodium and those cooked with lots of butter, cheese, or heavy sauces
Yeah.
can really sabotage your efforts.
So reading labels
Yeah,
and being mindful of preparation methods is key.
absolutely.
Now let's move on to fruits.
Okay.
We know they're healthy,
Yeah.
but the source suggests limiting those that are artificially sweetened or packed in heavy syrup.
Right. So you want to avoid those canned fruits in heavy syrup,
Yeah.
chewy fruit rolls, Yeah. and those overly sweet fruit gummies.
Okay, got it.
They're best left on the shelf.
Okay. And even with regular jam, jelly, and preserves, a little goes a long way.
Yes, a little goes a long way.
Okay. What about protein sources?
Okay.
Are there any we should be limiting?
Well, the source highlights red and processed meats as the main culprits here.
Okay.
So, think beef, pork, lamb, hot dogs, sausages, bacon, and deli meats.
Okay.
These are, linked to an increased risk of heart disease and certain types of cancer.
And I'm guessing fried meats and those high-fat cuts are also on the limit list.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah, so opt for baked, grilled, or roasted preparations over fried. And choose lean cuts of meat whenever possible.
What about dairy? Are there any types of dairy we should be mindful of?
The source recommends limiting full-fat dairy products.
Okay.
Like whole milk, 2% milk, cream, butter, and full-fat cheeses like cheddar and Swiss.
So sticking with those low-fat or non-fat options is the way to go?
Exactly.
Okay.
There are so many delicious low-fat and non-fat dairy products available these days.
Yeah.
You don't have to sacrifice taste or satisfaction.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, fats and oils. Remind us about those bad fats we should be avoiding.
Foods containing partially hydrogenated oils.
Okay.
Those trans fats we talked about are a big no-no.
Okay.
They can be, sneaky and hide in some processed foods and margarine.
Yeah.
So be sure to read those labels carefully.
And those tropical oils, should we be avoiding those completely?
But tropical oils like coconut and palm kernel oil are high in saturated fat.
Okay.
So it's best to use them sparingly.
Now let's tackle those sweet temptations.
Okay.
Which ones should we be limiting, and how can we make those smarter swaps?
So the source advises, limiting those processed treats.
Okay.
Regular pancake syrup, deep fried desserts, candy, cookies, and other baked goods made with refined sugar and white flour.
Those are tough ones to resist.
They are.
Any tips for managing those sweet cravings in a healthier way?
Well, remember what we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Fresh fruits, low-carb treats, natural sweeteners can help satisfy those cravings without sending your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride.
And let's not forget about portion control.
Absolutely.
Even with those healthier sweet options.
Yes, moderation is key.
Lastly, let's revisit drinks.
Okay.
We know water is the ultimate thirst quencher.
Yes, it is.
But what about other beverages?
Okay.
Which ones should we be limiting?
So the source advises limiting, sugary drinks like soda, sweetened tea, and juice.
Okay.
As well as those coffee drinks loaded with cream and sugar.
What about alcohol?
Okay.
Is there a safe amount to consume when managing diabetes?
Well, alcohol can be tricky.
Okay.
It's best to limit intake to no more than 1 or 2 drinks per day.
Okay.
And never drink on an empty stomach.
Okay.
As it can cause blood sugar levels to drop too low.
Okay, so we've explored a wide range of food choices.
We have.
Both good and bad.
Yes.
But I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the bigger picture.
Oh,
what does all this mean for our listeners?
Yeah.
How can they take this information and apply it to their daily lives? It can feel overwhelming, right?
It can. Yeah, it's like trying to memorize a whole textbook on nutrition.
Right, exactly.
But, that's where working with your healthcare team comes in.
They can help you personalize this information.
Okay.
Make it manageable. Figure out what works best for you.
Yeah.
Because remember, managing diabetes through diet, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's about creating sustainable habits.
Yeah.
Not following, a rigid set of rules.
No magic bullets.
No magic bullets.
With a personalized plan with the guidance of experts.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But even with that support, it's still quite a bit of information to digest, no pun intended.
Right, but knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more you understand about, how different foods impact your blood sugar, the more confident you'll feel making those choices that support your health goals.
Okay.
It's like, you're becoming your own food detective.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Figuring out what fuels your body best.
Exactly.
We've given our listeners a ton of food for thought today.
We have.
But as always, we like to leave you with a thought-provoking question to ponder.
As you continue your journey toward better health.
I like it.
And this time, it's all about the glycemic index.
The glycemic index.
Or GI.
Yeah, the GI.
It's a fascinating concept.
It is.
And it measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar.
Yes.
So it can be a really helpful tool for fine-tuning those food choices and managing blood sugar even more effectively.
Absolutely.
So here's the question for you to consider. How can understanding the glycemic index help you make more informed decisions about the foods you eat? And how can you use this knowledge to create a more balanced and blood sugar-friendly diet?
It's something worth exploring.
Absolutely.
And remember, it's all about
Yeah.
making gradual changes and finding what works best for you.
Yeah, it's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Diving deep into the best and worst foods for diabetes.
We did.
We explored the power of food,
Yes.
debunked some common myths, and hopefully gave you some practical tips and strategies for making healthier choices.
And we challenged you to think
Yeah.
critically
Yes.
about the glycemic index and how it can play a role
Yeah.
in your overall diabetes management plan.
So hopefully this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights
Yeah,
and some actionable steps you can take to improve your health and well-being.
absolutely. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep thriving.